Just tell me about the Cypress College and its location.
Okay. Cypress College is located in Medicine Hat, which is a city in southern Alberta, Canada. It's Canada's sunniest city. We're a small city by Canadian standards too, of about 42,000 people. But we have all of the things a larger or mid-sized city has because Medicine Hat being a little bit further away from any of the major cities in Canada, we're surrounded by lots of towns with agricultural industry, oil and gas. So the trade area of people who shop and purchase things and eat out at restaurants, stay in hotels in Medicine Hat is approximately 250,000, which is significant because that's why there's jobs in the service industry here that we have so many restaurants and so many places for a city our size. We're located near natural parks and wonders that bring tourism to Canada from all over the world, including the Canadian Rockies and the Badlands. So Medicine Hat is located in what's called the Badlands. It's actually beautiful, but that name is because we have all the fossils of terrible dinosaurs and stuff like that. So we have the Dinosaur Provincial Park and World Heritage Sites. The school itself is 20 years old. This is our 20th year. Traditionally, it's been a school that helped domestic local Canadian students retrain for jobs with our employer partners. Over the years, Cypress College has been the government's employment agency. So in the past, we've been contracted by the Alberta government to help place unemployed Canadians, retrain them, and then place them in industry. So, our background is really in that driving force of filling job vacancies in our labor market. And I think that makes us a little bit different than lots of the public programs that offer education strictly for education's sake. Private vocational college like Cypress College is all about vocational training for jobs. So our outcome is always employment based.
Great. So tell me about the courses.
Okay, we offer a number of programs. We have a business program, computer tech, marketing communication. But the product that's probably most interesting for international student applicants is a hotel restaurant management program, which is 2 years. And the first year of that is our culinary arts certificate program. And of course, the reason why students are more interested in those programs relates to work placement opportunities in Canada.
Great. Dave, just tell me about what academic requirement and English proficiency requirement for that particular course.
Sure. So academics, we require high school graduation. So in India, that's your 12th year. We also prefer students who have at least an interest in working in hospitality, culinary arts. So if you have an education or work experience in it, those are bonuses. They're not required. But someone who really does want to work in hotel restaurant management is sort of a key thing for us. Because ours links eventually to an employer placement. Like most Canadian programs for study, the visa requirement for a student visa is the 6.0 overall IELTS score. So that's our requirement as well. The stronger your English is, the better it is for employment purposes and your long-term success in Canada. So keep that in mind if you plan on staying in Canada beyond the program. The kitchen is a little more forgiving than some industries, so we could consider a student with a 5.5 in one band, so long as the overall is 6. But generally speaking, that 6.0 overall IELTS score is what we shoot for.
Dev, do you accepting the Duolingo also this year?
So the school is open to doing that. The school is open to doing that. The question is that the visa application success rate drops when you go away from IELTS. So from the school's point of view, I could accept alternate language testing. In Canada, we don't use IELTS. That's only India does that. So, well, not only India, but India uses the British system and Canada has their own. So, but our school can accept alternate English evidence, but my big warning to that is that the visa success rate can drop to 0% with some of them, and sometimes, and we can work with you as an agent to know this. Sometimes Canada says they do something by policy, but by practice at the consulate in particular regions we have that. So, for example, I know that we say we take lots of things, but IELTS has always been the one that has success in New Delhi. But I admit to with COVID that they might have to make some adjustments, and I've heard
Exactly.
when I listen to High Commission, they're talking about that. So I know they're going to have to do something because people can't sit the IELTS exam, right?
Now
So
this year every college and university are accepting Duolingo in Canada. So
yeah,
there
so
must
we can too. What we're going to watch for it when the High Commission reopens is the visa success rate. That's something we're all going to have to watch and see what happens. So from the school's point of view, yeah, we can do that. We just want. I don't want to give people advice that has it end in refusal of visa. But I also know this: either IELTS is going to have to come up with a way of giving students their exam,
yes, yes, yes.
or we're going to have to come up with an alternative because we
Yes,
can't just never test
exactly.
English again.
So what exactly the tuition fees for the entire course?
Sure. Total fees for the program are $16,250, which is a pretty common fee structure for one-year college in Canada. An equivalent program at a public college in Calgary for the same thing is about $21,000 a year. So we know that's a good value. But inside that $16,250 is all the fees. So there's no surprises in that. And that was important to me when we put that fee up. So sometimes you pay tuition and then you come and it's thousands more for books, and then there's an exam fee. But built into that fee for you is all of your tuition, your learning materials. We provide a laptop, and then things to get you started working in industry. We give you chef uniform and apron, a professional knife roll that you take in industry that you're working with, some small wares, your recipes and textbooks. So everything's included in there, including your exam fees. So no more surprises at the end.
Great.
Oh, and all
They,
the food you cook.
yes.
All the food is in that fee. Yeah.
Okay. Just tell me about the residence facility for the students.
Sure. So our experience with residency has been a tale of depending on the individual students that come. So some students have traveled before, some of the students have never been away from mom and dad, and so it just depends a little bit on that background. But what we like to do is we generally use a homestay family in Medicine Hat just to help people with the adjustment part. You know, sometimes it's really nice to just have someone local who can help you when you're stuck or help you figure out how the buses work, or because Canada's a different country with different culture than they're used to in India, and there is an adjustment period, and it's just nice to have a family to it. And most of our homestay families, they don't profit off of student homestays. They do it because they want to expose their children, usually in their family, to someone from another culture, and it's just a friendly thing. So it's not a permanent arrangement. Students, they can make housing arrangements after a couple months at homestay if they'd like to make their own. But it's very difficult to make your own housing arrangements in a foreign country when you didn't get a chance to view the property. You don't understand the laws for, you could get taken advantage of. So the school watches out for that. For some students who have lived abroad maybe already, or where a homestay family might not be the best use. Sometimes older students, we take some, our study gap's different than some schools. We do maintain some apartments that we do shared accommodations with other international students. So after your student visa is approved, and depending on your time of year, we need some lead time to help work out housing for you. But that's generally been the strategy that we've done for taking care of student accommodations up till now.
Great. So they just tell me about the part-time and full-time work opportunity for the student.
Sure. So generally students, while they're in school, they're allowed to work 20 hours a week on their student visa. So there is a work permit portion while they're working. They have work rights. Finding part-time work in Medicine Hat is generally easy because, again, we have 250,000 people shopping in a city of 42,000. So the people who actually live here, who really do want to work in restaurants and shops, tend to find those types of jobs fairly easily. The catch is, though, providing the student is what we call job ready. So what we found is that some of the international students, they've had work before. They usually find jobs within a matter of days. But for Canadians, one of the cultural differences is that our children are a little more work independent at a younger age than in India. So like my first job, I was 13 years old when I had my first job. And nowadays I'm old, so it's a little different nowadays, that kids are usually working by around age 15 or 16 in Canada. So when a student applies and they're 19, 20, Canadian employers expect that they've probably had a job and they know how to do things. And if that's not true for the student, it usually takes us a few weeks just to help get them ready for job interviews, show them the kinds of expectations they have on the job, and then help place them. But once that transition happens, it works smoothly. But depending on if they've never worked before, it might take a few weeks to find work. And seasonal, depending on time of year, there's way more jobs at certain times of year than others. So, but students find that part-time work fairly easy.
They just tell me about the LMI concept. Your course has the LMI association. What exactly the opportunity for the student?
Yeah, so the LMIA opportunity, I could tell you some things about it and what's happened for students, but generally speaking, anything to do with visas or to do with that information is protected in Canada. So you have to talk to a regulated Canadian immigration consultant to get formal answers as it relates to them specifically. And we use an RCIC, Carl at Preferred Immigration. I can send you some video of him explaining parts of our program. He is an expert in LMIA applications. But I can talk broadly about, instead of the individual student applications, what's happened with our employers. So we have a strong connection to hotel owners. So Cypress College traditionally was hired. How we got into hotel restaurant management training is Stage West Hospitality in Canada, which is a pretty major company and hotel chain. They hired us to develop their hotel restaurant management program that we train them on. So when a student studies our hotel restaurant management program, they're essentially learning that. And so a lot of the hiring managers are graduates of our school when we go for placements, and they know exactly what they're getting in a Cypress College graduate when they go hire them, and they're keen to have those positions. But what happens is that the hotel applies for an exemption to hire a foreign national, in this case specifically our graduate student, who's eligible for the position. So a student who meets the eligibility of attending 90% of the course and passing their food units in the culinary arts program, they apply for the LMIA opportunity that's available, and then their work permit can move from into a work permit from a student permit. So, and you can be eligible for these LMIA positions historically at our school after their first year of study. So yeah, so they meet the education requirement. That's what we provide, and then the employer has this opportunity, and they work with Carl at Preferred Immigration to take advantage of that opportunity when it presents itself. And that is the exciting part that I know the students talk about, and some of the applicants there can certainly talk to some of our Canadian students and see how that's working.
They just tell me about if student don't have the LMI, then what is the other alternate to get the work permit after completing the course?
Yeah, so there's a couple options there. First, after the first year, we can apply for the LMIA. And what LMIA essentially means is that there's no qualified Canadian applying for that same position. And this is born from the fact that my employers own properties in areas where there's way more business than there are intrinsically Canadians living there. So the town of Banff, for example, only has about 3,500 people or 5,000 people living there. Most of them are really wealthy Canadians who aren't interested in working in the big hotels, but they get 1 million visitors over the summer. So they do weddings, they do large meetings and events in industry and stuff like that. So, and plus there's skiing all winter and tourism in the summer. So they're able to apply for the LMIA because they're eligible, or they're more qualified than the lack of Canadians who are qualified applying for the position. So that's after 1 year. Some of the options are they could continue and finish their second year. So a second year period 2 cook has an even greater chance, an even higher requirement of being eligible for a position that Canadians might not be eligible to apply for because they don't meet the requirement. So one of the options, if they don't get it, is they could finish their second year and apply again. Another pathway that's traditional is that you can switch to a public college and apply for the postgraduate work permit. So as a private college, we are not eligible for postgraduate work permit, but the public colleges are. In all other respects, though, our credential is the same. as the public college. And that's why the transfer can work so easily. So I have a one-to-one transfer with one program. But we've also had students transfer to lots of culinary schools that we don't have an articulation agreement with. So I have an articulation pathway that's available for students to go to a public college at a sister campus, and that is postgraduate work permit eligible. So that is available to them, and also we help students who can apply for advanced transfer credit with other schools as well. So it's really a bit of a shopping for seats in the year of your graduation is the question that we go look for if they want that pathway. But the LMIA pathway is the one that the students are all excited about because it can save them paying their second year fees, or if they stay in that LMIA pathway and get their permanent residency, they can finish their education at Canadian prices.
Exactly.
So an international student usually pays more and a PR would pay less. So if they go back to school as PRs, they just pay smaller fees.
There's just one thing to clarify. Student transfer for the second year of the course get the 3-year work permit, post work permit.
Yeah, that's been true so far because the program that they're getting credit for is a 3-year program. I know that there's some gray area in there, and I can defer to the RCIC to answer that question. But yeah, the program they're graduating from is eligible for the 3-year work permit at the public college, and they're getting full credit for their first year 1-to-1, so it's not partial. So yeah, that should be fine as far as we know. Yeah.
So they've just tell what are the intakes available for the students? Do you have
What are the
intakes? When student can come and join?
Oh, sure. So yeah, because we train unemployed Canadians, Cypress College actually runs intakes year round. So a traditional public college, you just have like September and January. Those are the only times a year you can come. At Cypress College, we try to be counter-cyclical to that so that our graduates hit the employment market before all the graduates graduate the private schools. So that's one way that we sort of stack the deck in favor of our students for jobs. So we finish ahead of their students and we're already working before they apply. That's our strategy generally. So, but we do intakes a few times a year for international students. We have an intake right now for September of 2020, but we're watching to see what High Commission says about dates. So if we have to make that October or even into January, we have some flexibility to watch and see what happens with visas. So, but yeah, we do several a year.
So Dev, this is the last question. If you summarize the 3 major reasons to come student to the Cypress College, what would be the 3 reasons to join the Cypress College?
Okay. 3 reasons why you would come to Cypress College. Well, one, I'll talk about heart first. So the first is, schools across Canada offer excellent programs. We have excellent education in Canada. I know that's why international community wants to study in Canada. And certainly we have excellent programs as well. But we're a small school. And sometimes in India, a small private school looks like a disadvantage. But in Canada, small schools are considered boutique and very prestigious. And the reason why you want your child to go to a small private college is because the private college has smaller class sizes. There's more time with your instructors. Students get more opportunities in the smaller class to grow and succeed and be supported. So at Cypress College, you get that premium service. We're not an international college in the sense that you come and sit in class with a lot of international students. Most of your classmates at our school are Canadians taking the same program, that premium service. So that's one I would say that our small class size and hands-on being a small school. The second one, we're one of the very few private colleges that offers the government trade program. So this is the trade program for cook. It's recognized all across Canada. When you twin the education with the apprenticeship program, that's what is called the Red Seal Chef program. People Google Red Seal Chef. This is the pathway to that. And that is the big strength about our school and program, is that it puts you in the pathway to become a Red Seal Chef. However, the apprenticeship program is only available to Canadians. It's not available to international students. So the catch is, once you become a PR, then the hours that you work and experience can count towards your apprenticeship model. So that's why it's not officially written on there that you can see that, because international students are not eligible to join the apprenticeship pathway. But our employers absolutely understand. And they're absolutely ready to hire people like they would hire Canadians in the apprenticeship. They hire the international students into those same positions based on the course and the training that they've received. So I think the second big reason is that we offer that government program. Most private schools don't offer that government program. And I think probably the third and biggest reason to come to Cypress College is that we take an active role in placing students in work opportunities in industry. Most schools, especially public colleges, they have no obligation to do this. They don't necessarily have an interest in doing that. Our background is in employment services. That's just a strength of our small school. And our region has these natural gaps in the marketplace, these natural vacancies that we can help fill. So we know that by offering that service to students, that we can create a product that gives a really good pathway that a student, an international student, would be especially interested in. So I would say those are the three big reasons to come study with us. But that